spokesperson for Speaker of the House. Ron, I want to know first if you've ever seen anything like that happen. This was, may have not been a big brawl, but it was a physical altercation. People put hands on each other. And Kevin McCarthy, after 14 votes, is still not speaker. And immediately his closest ally gets up and says, let's adjourn till Monday, which says to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, that they don't think there's any more movement to be had this evening. Ron, hang on 1 second. We don't hear you.
So I have seen screaming matches of members going face to face, right up nose to nose, but I haven't seen people put their hands on each other. No. And that was a very emotional, heated moment. So no, that's not something you do in the House of Representatives or in any legislative institution that you call yourself a democracy. It's not a good idea. You can tell emotions are very, very high. It is really unfortunate for Kevin McCarthy not to get that, final vote with all this momentum that he was able to create today. I felt it was Lucy taking the football right away from him again. And now, you have a couple of days. If the House adjourns, you're going to have a couple of days where McCarthy folks have to reorganize, re-strategize, and, make sure that momentum stays in place for that vote on Monday. And what they're really going to have to work on is see what it's going to take for one of these folks to vote for McCarthy or to move Matt Gaetz or Lauren Boebert from present to McCarthy. And I will tell you, they must have cut a deal with their colleagues to say, all right, we're not going to vote no, we'll vote present. And for them, that was a lot for them to do right in and of itself. So for McCarthy to come over and expect them to switch it to yes, I think he knew they wouldn't do it, but it's good political theater to show his colleagues he's doing everything he can to get that vote.
Do you think there's a chance that either of the two of them, after 2 days of getting calls from everywhere, switch their vote on Monday? I mean, what is Kevin McCarthy going to have to do?
I think it boiled down to Gaetz in the end here. Gaetz has enjoyed the drama of the moment. He relished it. So, he's the one who has been saying this week, we're getting everything we want, with a wink and a nod to his 20 GOP colleagues, I think, or his 19 other GOP colleagues. I think he might try to leverage something out of this in order to get his vote to yes. But, who knows? Or maybe they have to move somebody. Maybe they'll be able to move somebody else. But clearly we're on the precipice of McCarthy's speakership. He can't lose any more momentum. And now you've got 2 days without voting. That's a dangerous spot for him to be at. I mean, for yet another humiliating loss.
Yeah. All right, Ron, I want to now take those questions and bring them to Ron Bonjean. Ron, with what has happened this evening on the 15th vote, and you and I have already talked about that, the ugliness of that, physical altercation, and how it, that could have been a lot worse had someone not stepped in. However, what happens with this Republican Party that has appeared to be, if not has been, very fractured over the last 4 days and 15 votes? If this is going Kevin McCarthy's way, which it looks like it is, what's the path forward?
Yeah, this is a victory for Kevin McCarthy. We all thought this House was going to adjourn and he was going to have to scramble and figure out where those votes are come Monday. But now it looks like he's going to win. And I think that the deal he made with Gaetz was to bring those members from voting against him to present. That's what at least it looks like right now. So come Monday, they have to dust themselves off and move forward. Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker and House Republicans will be in charge with their agenda. The question will be, how much of their agenda can they get done with the internal dissension that they have? It is going to be a slow, grinding process for sure on the big pieces of legislation, and there are going to be some hard feelings. I don't think many of the 200 Republicans are going to want to sit at Matt Gaetz's or Lauren Boebert's lunch table right now. They're pretty ticked off that they had to waste a week of their majority dealing with all of this. There's going to be hard feelings, but in the end, they're going to be passing legislation at first that they're going to all agree on. It's going to be some of the tough stuff that really, gets mucked up for a little bit. But also, they all know that whatever they pass out of the House of Representatives is likely not going to become law because Democrats in the Senate aren't going to go for it, and President Biden's not going to sign into law because everyone is looking at 2024 right now.
And about what happens right now. Kevin McCarthy, as leader of the Republican Party in the House, is going to get up and he's going to, we believe, give a speech. This speech, I'm guessing, is so important for him to not only begin his speakership, but also try to heal some of the stuff we just saw.
This is a defining moment for Kevin McCarthy. He is victorious. The House Republicans are now going to be running the House of Representatives. He has the speakership. It's everything he wanted. And now the tone is what matters and how he moves forward. You saw what Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, and President Biden did. They did a bipartisan event down in Kentucky. I think what he's going to do is have a speech that talks about trying to work with the other side on common ground, common things in order to get things done. There is a lot in that speech that really matters, and it's a defining moment for him.
I don't like to be pessimistic, Ron, but I mean, he can say what he wants to say in this speech, but the Republican Party had all this trouble electing him speaker. Now he's going to get up and say that unity and we need to work together. There are members of his caucus, there are members of the Republican Party in that House that have said they will never work with the Democrats. And we see some of those members sticking to their guns here and dragging this out for 4 days and 15 votes. So honestly, do you think that we will see anything bipartisan out of this Congress?
I think we're going to see divided government from both sides. You're going to have Republicans and Democrats really stick to their guns because they're focused on the presidential election and they don't want to give the other side a leg up. However, I do think there will be a few pieces of bipartisan legislation that do get through after long slog internally in the House Republican Conference, and then trying to bring some Democrats over on things that really matter, like national emergencies, increasing the debt limit, spending, meaning appropriation bills funding the government is going to be such a big deal, along with hot ticket items like funding Ukraine. This is, there's not going to be a lot of victories here in the next couple of years, I think. But the biggest victory is that the House Republicans now have planted the flag. They now are running the House of Representatives, and they get to show how they can run the House differently than the Democrats ran it before, that they run the agenda. They set the tone and tenor, and they're putting the legislation on the floor that they think matters, as opposed to what Democrats would want to put on the floor. And that's what it's all about. And the Speaker helps set the tone. So, this is everything that Kevin McCarthy has wanted. You can see it in his face. But I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of late nights. There's going to be a lot of coffee, drunk overnight. I mean, I'm telling you, these people are in for a real long ride.
Yeah, Jay, I want to bring you back in, and I want to talk about, and I know we know some of what Kevin McCarthy had to promise and give away to get to this point. They're actually, let's listen in. They're actually talking about the votes. There it is. He was just named as speaker.